Hi, I'm Destiny. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be how I homeschool my toddler, Elijah. A little bit about me. Before I became a mom, I have my bachelor's in developmental psychology and my associates in early childhood education. I worked at a few different preschools as well as did internships with Chicago Pediatric Therapy. That being said, I have worked with an array of professionals within this realm and decided to create my own individualized curriculum for Elijah using a combination of my experience, my working experience, as well as my education. Instead of writing in a journal or a planner or agenda, I actually decided to print out some materials to organize my lesson plan. I made it on Canva, and if you DM me on Instagram, I could definitely shoot you this for free. I'm not trying to tell anybody anything, but you can definitely use this as a resource because it's very helpful for me. I'm going to do a close-up so that you guys can see exactly what it looks like. I try to make it look cute with the dinosaurs and stuff. I also have a different one. This has a front and a back. This is the worksheet, I guess, that you can fill out with Expo either daily or weekly. It's really up to your schedule and what you can do. And then this is a summary of what each of these items mean, just in case you need to refer back to it. So for me, this is kind of what I learned in school in my early childhood education classes. What cognitive and executive function is, language, physical development, and social emotional. Those are like the early childhood education pillars that we first learn about. So cognitive and executive function refers to the mental processes involving learning, thinking, problem solving, and memory. Some examples would be object permanence, sorting things into categories, cause and effect, spatial relationships, attention span, and some of the activities that you can do is like hide and seek, building blocks, puzzles, shape sorters, symbolic thinking like using a banana as a phone in pretend play, and even counting, because you have to remember that, and cleaning up your toys. You have to remember where your toys are supposed to go, like things like that. Now for language development, you would think that's pretty straightforward, but there's a lot that goes into language development. So in early childhood education, that refers to reception, which is understanding words, phrases, and sentences, comprehending stories, following instructions, and recognizing the meaning of words. Also, expression, expressing thoughts, feelings, and needs. Vocabulary, which is knowing and using words in correct context. Learning the rules of grammar, so word order, verb tense, and sentence structure. Pragmatics, which is learning social cues, taking turns in conversation, appropriate facial expressions, and body language. This can be taught by engaging in conversations, playing pretend, and reading. So the next is physical development, and this focuses on gross motor, which is bigger body movements, and then fine motor, which is using your hands. So examples of gross motor, which is bigger body movements, would be crawling, walking, running, jumping, skipping, climbing, throwing, catching, bending, twisting, reaching, pulling, pushing, lifting, balancing, kicking, dancing, going up and down the stairs. And examples of fine motor, which is again your hands, is grasping, pinching, pointing, turning pages, drawing, twisting caps, cutting, ripping, snapping, clapping, zipping, buttoning, rotating objects with your fingers, opening and closing containers, threading, brushing teeth, holding, eating utensils, playing instruments, and tweezing. There are endless activities that can exercise these abilities like tracing, stacking blocks, and sensory play. Am I going too fast? I feel like I'm out of breath already. The next one is social emotional, which refers to recognizing one's own emotions, managing them and understanding others, strengthening relationships, showing empathy, nurturing, how to resolve conflicts, understanding that there are consequences for their actions. There are many ways to enhance their social skills and emotional well-being. The best way is to model the behavior you want to see. Deep breaths, hugging baby dolls, taking turns, etc. which leads me to creative imagination, which is one of the blocks here. Creative imagination refers to the child's own original thought, perspective, ideas, and approaches to their own world, using their imagination and expression, and how they foster curiosity. Open-ended play and asking questions that are not like yes or no questions, but inquisitive questions about their thought process, how they observe, and allow them to explore their interests, which you could use like water play, sensory play, exploring nature, building structures big and small, dressing up, playing in a kitchen, doing arts and crafts, clay, sand, manipulative boards, egg cartons, and just focus on the process of creating and not necessarily the end result. So now for the last block right here, it says extracurricular or outreach. Now for Elijah, and this is not to brag because this is actually a problem of ours, he's oddly advanced. So the last block is more so expanding your curriculum based on your child's interests and also meeting them where they are at. I don't know if you've ever seen that 2-year-old on Instagram who knows like multiplication, division, algebra, and not only is he like memorizing numbers, but he's also doing like very advanced and complex math problems. And there's children who know multiple languages. There's children who have gifts like in art and science and Tinker Lab things or music. Like, I'm just giving him or thinking outside of the box, and this is where I would put anything right there where he needs to be like challenged a little bit more. When I used to work in a family-owned daycare, they actually used to base their curriculum on a monthly theme. So I put a topic right here. I don't know if I always do this, but sometimes I do feel like it helps. So for example, I'm gonna fill it out with you. So let's say the theme for this month is farm animals. I'll put farm with my dry erase marker, animals on the top. It says, what are the key points you would like to cover? Some of the key points that I would like to cover as a mom who is teaching their child about farm animals is that they live in a barn in a wide open plain. So I'm trying to like describe what environment they live in. My child just walked in, so if you can hear him in the background, so sorry. But if I also want to teach him about farm animals, I would teach him about what they eat. They produce produce, so I'll put produce. So I'm just basically putting kind of like a concept or a schema together of what I want to teach my child. Now, how are we going to build this schema? We are going to use the back of the page to kind of guide us on how we're going to teach. So cognitive and executive function, we can use puzzles. For language, let's pick out some animal farm books. Now for physical development, we can walk around a farm. Let's go on a little field trip. Look at the cow. He's milking the cow. They want to say hi. Hi. They're so happy. They're happy to see you. Creative and imagination. I do have a pretend play farm available. And then for social emotional, we do have little, what are these called again? Miss Rachel, tell me the answer. Stuffed animals. We can hug the stuffed animal. I have a pig and I have a cow. A cow says, moo. Oink, oink. That. Now, what resources are we going to need in order to accomplish this task. Sometimes I actually like to look at videos online with Elijah and kind of like describe what's going on in that video. So I'm going to put down a online video so that he can visually see what we're talking about. Now for this little box, it says materials needed. I would love to paint. So I'm gonna put down, we need a little bit of extra paint in the house, paper, maybe we need some crayons to create this art, maybe we need some scissors to create this art. So those are the tangible materials that we're going to need to buy to prepare for this week's curriculum in our grocery list. But I put CDC and pediatric milestones that we're going to work on this week. So we are actually working on potty training. Yes, potty training. These are milestones that's developmentally appropriate for your child's age group that you would like to work on. And then the last part right here is methodologies. If you don't know what methodologies are, I could definitely help you out with that. I love picking out a little from each methodology. I just don't pertain to just one. So for example, a lot of people already know what Montessori is. I did put a reminder as to what it is. So in my perspective, this is what I take out of it, is toys and activities and items used routinely are meant to be neatly prepared, accessible to children, calming, and the placement should be predictable in efforts to promote independence and decision making. This method encourages parents to follow their children's interests. It emphasizes the importance of teaching practical life skills such as grooming, food preparation, chores. It encourages patients to demonstrate how to do a task and then allow the child to perform the task without interference, even if they make a mistake, so that they are willing to attempt challenges on their own and are not discouraged by their mistakes. We allow children time to explore and stay focused on isolated tasks, using positive praise for their efforts. He really wants my attention. So unfortunately, I got highly distracted when Elijah came in the room and I wasn't able to tell you guys exactly how many methodologies that we use or how we draw from them. So I will list them here, the things that Elijah has been exposed to. So Waldorf, Reggie, Emilia, play-based learning, Bank Street, Forestry schools, S.T.E.M, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, project-based learning, and much more. Hey, we tried to what's wrong, babe? We try to read 20 minutes a day. Sometimes it doesn't happen depending, but we try to read 20 minutes a day in order to strengthen his attention span. Sometimes it's actually hard to get your child to sit down and like listen to like circle time or try to get them to do literally anything. Once they hit a certain age, they don't want to sit down anymore in a structured environment. And so for me, I kind of lure my child in with like music or the promise of fun or like bubbles, like a little bubble party, and I kind of trick him in a little bit to doing like at first like singing, whether it's the Itsy Bitsy Spider or he really loves the wheels on the bus, and then we'll gradually like sit down. I also really think it's important to allow your child to explore their own interests. So I will ask him, do you want to play with bubbles or do you want to play with music? Do you want to read a book or do you want to do an art project? So like I allow him to decide what he wants to do. I just don't like force it on him. He, oddly enough, is starting to learn how to read. It's backwards, upside down. I mean, he's starting to learn how to read. So he's in the very beginning of like his alphabets. We do have one right here, but this one he can like touch and like manipulate. There's an opposite. There's vowel sounds, which is really useful. There's prepositions, there's nouns. And which one did I really like? He's actually learning yesterday. He really liked this one, the solar system. Let me tell you, he woke up today and then he was like, yay! And I'm like, what? And he's like, the sun is out. And I thought it was like the cutest thing. So because he's interested in the sun, I kind of just thought this was nifty, which is the solar system. And every single time he looks at a clock, he also does the same thing. Oh, a clock. And I think there's a clock. I mean, you guys get it. There's washing hands ones. for potty training. I mean, there's everything. What other materials? I like using puppets to get his attention and get him to laugh. I like, instead of like reading him stories, I also have like a felt board over there, which is a board where you can stick on like shapes or like color crayons, numbers, ABCs, farm animals, like anything that you have that's felt, it can be stuck onto there, and you can ask your child to like manipulate these items, so it gets very engaging. I have a lot of like story time ones as well. I think this is the nursery rhyme that says the cow jumps over the moon. There's also, oh, I forgot what this one is called, where the egg is like on top of the wall and he falls down. This one is the song, three little ducks came to school one day, over the hill and far away. This one's the Itsy Bitsy Spider. And so I have a lot of nursery rhymes in like little baggies that I keep organized, and I will keep this in his closet. I also went to a bookstore. Excuse me if I am stuttering or I have like a lisp. I'm trying to get used to my Invisaligns, which is my new braces that I got like a week ago. But okay, does anybody else get excited for activity books, toddler activity books? Let's see, this one is called Pretty Smart. This one is School Zone. So these are the brands, and these two are Scholastic. I got the appropriate age group. So this one is 3 to 5. This one is 2 to 4. This one is 2 and up, and then 3 to 2. So I just got some that are in his age group. They are so cute. Some of these, I do have to admit, they go over his head a little bit, but I do draw ideas from some of these activity books in my curriculum as well. They're a great resource. For these toddler books, there's stickers in the back. There's, guys, just look at some of these pages. This is for tracing, practicing colors. They talk about everything that's orange and pink. I really loved this page. So this page is counting, but it's not just like counting and recognizing numbers, but the quantity as well. Elijah was looking at this one. It was empty. There's nothing in there. There's 1 ladybug. There's 2 ladybugs, 3, 4, and then 5. And so you get to match them up, but just to have like visual references. Again, I could create a whole art project doing this. I could create a felt board project doing the same thing. We can do nursery rhymes also doing the same thing. These books just like spark so much in my mind as a curriculum developer. Even though these are so simple, I feel like that's the point. Like I can just rip a page out while he's like waiting for me to cook his breakfast, and this is something that like just keeps him occupied. This page talks about the seasons, so they can physically see what appropriate clothing they're supposed to wear and the type of weather that they're going to be in. I just love these cute little activities. Even shares like how to do the activity in the activity book so that you are 100% aware of like how it's helping them. Again, I'm not trying to convince anybody to like buy anything. I don't get commission off of any of the stuff. One of the brands that my auntie works for is called Learning Resources. And she gave me a lot of toys that her children used to play with. So I have boxes on boxes of like educational toys. So like this one, for example, is a science kit where they can put some dye into one of these tubes and mix it with the other dye in order to create new and different colors. So like they learn about their primary colors, and then they learn that colors can change when you mix them in. There's shape sorters, common thing to buy children. Counting popsicle. When you open up the popsicle, they have a like the quantity on them, but then there's popsicle covers. When you like take them off, this is the number 4, and then take it off, and then it'll have like 4 little dots so that they understand. So just like the toys that you buy can be like literally educational as well. This one is an owl, and you can mess with the eyes, the nose, you can flap the wings, and you put in the little coins and you count. 1, 2, and I play with Elijah with these, and he learns how to count. So my phone actually died on me before I could continue to show any more resources, but I think that we have a pretty good summary on how to develop an individualized curriculum for your child ages 1 through 3 using early childhood education practices. And if you would like to continue seeing videos like this, I would love to do them. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.